I watched 3 Tubi original horror films, and these are my thoughts. I'm going to go from what I think the worst film is to the best. And I'm going to be honest, out of the 3, I only liked one. So the first 2 are kind of interchangeable about what's the worst one and what's the best one. I'm gonna I'm gonna pick the one that I think is probably the worst, but that might just be my own personal taste. And that is actually, I think, the newest one out of the films, which is Death Name. A young Korean American woman yearns to learn more about her heritage, not knowing the further she digs, the more she awakens a deadly family curse. Which, okay, so this film, I think it's actually a interesting concept. I think this film actually had a lot of potential, and there were some genuinely really good things about this, like the concept of this like cursed name. It sounds kind of dumb, but I think that it could have honestly been executed pretty well. And I think that this film could have been honestly a really solid film. But I'm gonna be honest, I think it fell short by quite a lot of the potential that it had. And like just first things first, some of the decisions that these characters made are just beyond stupid. Like they're just so dumb. And I think they could have done so much better with some of these scares. There was this like creepy monster in the film, which I honestly thought like a creepy humanoid monster thing, which I thought could have been utilized a lot better. It could have honestly had some like good scares, but I don't think it really had many of those. And there were some predictable moments, I think. But like overall, Death Name is just not a good film. I wouldn't recommend it. I would say the concept's interesting. I want to see this film. It would be cool to see this concept used in a different movie. And honestly, I had the same thing to say almost about Requiem for a Scream. Second place, I guess you could say, is Requiem for a Scream. A sadistic killer sets his sights on a group of friends partying in an abandoned lake house, determined to make their murders his symphony. Like the concept of a serial killer using screams to make music, while probably a dumb idea, I think it's an interesting idea. I think it could be cool. And this film, just how it executed it was rough to say the least. I was gonna say that the character decisions that some of the decisions these characters made were dumb once again. And I feel like they could kill this masked man pretty easily. I mean, it's like 4 people to 1. The characters in this film, for the most part, I thought were pretty unlikable and honestly kind of annoying. If you do watch this film, maybe turn off subtitles because it literally gives away who the killer's name is. Like, it gives away who the killer is, which I think was an awful thing to happen. And I'm gonna say, well, the kills they weren't great. A lot of them were pretty much off screen, and I don't think they were very good except for maybe like one. I didn't find them very creative. I think they could have utilized the killer's like obsession with turning screams into music into some kind of kill. I don't know how they would do that, but I think they should have tried to do something kind of related to music. I also found the ending to be kind of dumb and really underwhelming. I do have a few positives. Like I said, I think the concept of this film using screams to make music was interesting, but I think it could have been utilized better. I also think the killer's mask was pretty cool. Overall, though, I just want to see this film's concept used again in a different movie with a better story. Okay, the only film I can actually recommend out of these 3 films is R.L. Stein Pumpkinhead. When his brothers disappear and everyone forgets he existed, Sam must unravel the mysteries before Finn is gone forever. This film has a really cool monster, in my opinion. I think the ending was honestly insane. And I think this film is like a really good gateway horror film. If you want to show like your younger brother or like your kid, I think this is a really good option. There's probably some plot holes, but I don't really care too much about that for this film. It's just a fun film. The concept's pretty interesting. It's not very bloody or anything like that, so you don't need to worry too much about showing that to your kid. There is like one scene that's not well, not bloody, is kind of shocking. Film is just like it's a really fun film, and I really recommend it. I don't want to say too much. I kind of want you to go into it kind of blind, but trust me, R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead is actually worth it. If I were to tell you to pick one of these films to watch, I would go ahead and say R.L. Stein Pumpkinhead. I prefer that one the most. While not probably a masterpiece, I thought it was fun. So far my opinions on Tubi original films aren't the greatest of thoughts. So far I haven't seen any film very good except for Pumpkinhead, but I mean I'll probably watch some more original ones later on. Okay, I hope you guys really like that. I hope you guys like this video. Just I'm, giving you my thoughts on three Tubi original films. What I watched three of type of movie should I do next? Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.